That series was a delight to cast, and tomorrow it happens again. The rematch of the semifinals from Immortals versus Cloud9 for that final spot at Worlds to represent North America.
You can see the smiles on the face there of Envy as the teams will shake hands. High spirits for the team, knew that it was going to be a long shot in the gauntlet. And of course, we'll see them next year as well in the spring season of the NALCS. So plenty for Envy here as they move forward, but unfortunately, their chance at Worlds does end here with a defeat to Cloud9 in the gauntlet. And we've set it up again. Everyone looked at the gauntlet and said, C9 Immortals just feels like fate. We're going to have that best of 5 once again tomorrow. Our last spot, like you mentioned, for Worlds. As one more team's going to move over to represent North America with the help of TSM and CLG. And Cloud9 just looking on point.
Yeah, they have to strike a little bit of fear into the hearts of Immortals, who now have to go, okay, this is what they like to play, this is what they can play with the Yasuo top and these other things that we saw today. So that was the matchup that Immortals have probably been preparing for the last week, because if you looked at the gauntlet and the seeding, you think you're going to play Cloud9 in the finals. You think you're going to have that rematch. They desperately want it, and they've had the time to prepare for that best of 5.
And the thing I love is that even expecting to win here for Cloud9, which they probably did, considering themselves favorites, what you show to Immortals playing here today is very important. You know, barely missed a beat. Impact constantly playing and solo killing people. It feels like all of Cloud9 were up and ready to play. And a 3-0 is very different to a 3-1. Even though the result is the same for Cloud9, because Immortals look across at the other side and say, that is full strength Cloud9, that is who we have to beat tomorrow.
Exactly, and that's a lot of momentum coming into tomorrow. 3-0, not a lot of blemishes on your record there. There's like 1 or 2 fights like in the entire series over the course of 3 games. And you think about Impact's performance throughout all of playoffs, people are still kind of like, okay, I don't know if he's going to turn into a pumpkin. I feel like now you can definitely say he is this type of top laner. These solo lanes, being able to play one-on-one helps him so much. He had the most kills on his team in every single game. He was very close to the Varus' damage in this game and being #1 in damage as a top lane tank Echo. This guy is the real deal.
Certainly is. Well, it's time to send it to the stage where Dom Roma is standing by with Cloud9's veteran jungler for a post-game interview.
Thanks, guys. I am joined by Meteos after an absolutely brutal 3-game series. How has Cloud9 rebounded so quickly after the finals last week?
Well, I think after we lost, we were all pretty sad, but we realized we could still get to World. It's not the end of the world. But I don't know. I think that we played pretty well. Envy gave us a lot of openings, which I don't think we will have against Immortals. So it's really hard to say how we'll do against them, but hopefully it goes this well.
Yeah. Well, you've already gone 3-2 against them. What are your thoughts on the series? Is there anything you're concerned about?
Immortals?
Yes.
I think they're really good. It looks like they sort of were getting their confidence back after beating CLG, because after Toronto, you know, we finished higher than them 2nd place, but we ended on a loss and they ended on a win. So it's kind of weird, but I think that both teams are pretty good. And I think both teams do deserve to be at Worlds, but only one of us can make it, so hopefully it's us.
Yeah, well, fingers are crossed. Now, one final question for you. Impact has been playing out of his mind these past few days, these past few weeks even. What's it been like to play with him?
It's pretty easy. You know, he just goes top die, and then he gets a solo kill. So I don't know. He's really good.
All right, very cool. Well, Meteos, again, congratulations. Thank you so much for the chat. We're going to break down that at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Dom. I'm sure Meteos and the rest of Cloud9 will be happy to have ended this one 3-0, much in contrast to last year's regional qualifier run. They're going to have more left in the tank, I think, when it comes to facing Immortals tomorrow. But let's conclude breaking down this series here, the 3-0 victory for C9. This 3rd game, very reminiscent of the other ones in that Impact being a monster in the top lane on the Echo into Kassadin matchup. And I think that's kind of the biggest point there is this was a matchup that they knew Seraph would want to take because he played it yesterday, and yet Impact comes out on top.
I mean, I'm just not super convinced of the matchup overall. It wasn't great, great for Seraph yesterday in the initial parts of the game, and then once again here, we see that Impact just runs away with the matchup, with the first blood that he gets.
Yeah, well, the matchup isn't that convincing. Just the actual play, the way he handled it was just really great. Watching the 1v1 all-ins was always a treat.
Now, there were a number of 1v1s, but let's take a look at that first blood that we're talking about, the one that kicked it all off, because it definitely felt like in this matchup, he had permission after this one to go even harder in the lanes.
And the big thing to know in his all-in is that he's able to get the return damage on both his time winders. So he's going to walk back behind him, another extra little bit of damage. and then he's going to be able to finish it off with a flash E.
And
also-
being able to get the shield as well.
That's what I was about to say, the step back.
He played it to the point where like he got everything. He got the shield to mitigate the R damage and the W damage, and he got his own Q to hit twice. Like everything was played flawlessly.
Yeah, even if he didn't get the stun, he has the presence of mind to take that extra step towards the shield, knowing it's going to be more useful in the fight to absorb that damage. As you can see here, once again,